Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to this week episode. And I have my dear friend Sandra Wood back, but also with her daughter Julie Jones, and they are actually business partners, which I really love. And yes, Sandra and I met a couple of years ago. She's a dear friend of mine. We haven't met yet in person. That will come. I have a tour in US now coming up to visit everyone. But I don't know. We met a couple of years ago and we kind of follow each other in our own like spiritual journey, business journey. And of course, I've heard about Julie a lot as a daughter. And now I'm going also to get to know her in her profession, which it's just amazing. So welcome both of you. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
So I'm going to ask you one question to go back in time a little bit, and I start with you, Julie. Since I know a lot about Sandra's story, but have you been an entrepreneur for a couple of years, or how did you what's your background?
Yeah.
How much you want, if it's the spiritual aspect or the business or whatever, feel free.
Yeah, I can kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of how I ended up here. You know, I went through a pretty unconventional schooling route. I went to a kind of Buddhist inspired contemplative arts college right out of high school. And I found myself in a school with people who were everyone was a lot older than me. Most people were graduate students. And I was like kind of coming straight out of high school into this new world. And so I got a degree in peace studies, which is a very unconventional degree. So I really was trained and studied in how to be a mediator and kind of found some of my natural gifts, I think, in that area. But then I left that and I kind of had some health challenges, and through exploring solutions for myself, I ended up in the chiropractic industry, and I worked there for almost a decade, running chiropractic practices, coaching teams, all sorts of things. And in that process, I also became a health coach. And so I was working much more in the health arena. And recently, as in the last year, I decided to kind of stop just being in that space and moving more into running my own business coaching practice and working alongside my mother, working with life and business coaching together. And I think my journey has always kind of been about understanding the individual. And when I was, running practices and coaching teams, it was always about understanding everybody's unique strengths so that we could reach mutual goals together. And that's really what health coaching was about too. It was like looking at the individual. And so I think all of that has kind of come to a point now where I'm able to look at somebody's business and say, how do we make this work for you? Not necessarily what are the generic business strategies that you would find anywhere, but actually how do we look at your unique design and make this work for you in a way that's energy efficient and fun and profitable, all of those things. So yeah, I would say that's kind of, general view of how we got here.
And also what you shared, I didn't know that about the Buddhist and peace study I wrote here. That's amazing. It is. And of course, I mean, you have Sandra as a mother, I would say.
Yeah. There's a reason I got here.
Sometimes Sandra doesn't tell this about herself. Wow, that's amazing. Sandra, congrats for being a good mother.
Thank you. It's amazing. Like when you're raising children, you really don't know what's going to happen. And I think the really cool part of working with Julie is this whole piece of us inviting more information in, which is human design. You know, both her and I have used Strength Finder a lot in both of our careers as well. But this has been really fun because it's helped us even understand ourselves better and in our relationship better. So it's kind of like, you know, we almost know now how to communicate to each other in ways that really honor each other's human design as well. So that's been cool too.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And is it okay for you to share what your designs are as well?
Yeah. Julie, you want to go?
Sure. I am a 2/4 emotional projector and mom.
Yes. I am a 2/4 manifesting generator and emotional as well. Yeah.
So we complement each other very well. The manifesting generator projector combo is like magic.
Yes.
It is. And also that you have the 2/4, that's the profile, isn't it? Because wow, it's almost like my daughter is a projector as well, but I'm not sure about her profile. And my son is also a manifesting generator, but he's from the sacral, not emotional like I am. But yeah, so that's also so similar. And like I wrote down as well, because Sandra, I mean, your story has been in your business from coaching and helping like divorced women in the beginning. I remember this is way back. And then let me see here now. What was the next step in your journey? It was relationship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last time.
Kind of like,
Even if everything is.
Yeah.
But this feels so much you. Like,
well, you know, I think what's really interesting is I think understanding as a manifesting generator that there's always going to be a new version of you. And that there's no like landing here. I got it. It's all good. I'm set for the rest of my life. It's not going to happen. But I think the thing that's really helped me, and also working with Julie has, because she's a projector, she really helps me get clarity, is understanding like what's the main thing that I do here, and what's kind of my life theme, and what am I here to do? How do I communicate that to others? And so it's always going to be a lot of different things. So I think that the pull into wanting to help entrepreneurs and women that are really discovering themselves as business owners is a huge pull for me, because it's what I'm discovering too, and what I'm discovering with Julie. But really, I think Julie and I have really fine-tuned our own secret sauce in when we're working together and when we're working separately, because we are designed to do it differently. And for me, it's really about rapid transformation. So that can be in a relationship. It could be with a health challenge. It could be with mindset. It could be with your business. So that's the big realm of what my work is this transformation piece. And I got into relationships to begin with just because I've done so much of that. And that's just been my background. But now it's like, I just want it to be even juicy into a woman's business of rapid transformation. So that's kind of why I've wandered about. And I always just like being in someone's life where it's super gritty and kind of painful. But I also want to not spend 10 years with someone in that realm. So it's got to go quick. I want to activate it and get that shit done, you know? So,
I can relate. That's why I'm laughing. I'm not like, I'm laughing because I can
relate. So, and that's a better sign for me. And that is also, it's better for me to be running retreats and getting on stages and talking to women in that kind of forum where Julie can explain to you a little bit on what it looks like for her as a projector.
I think I mean, the whole kind of purpose of the projector is for me to master energy efficiency for myself, but then to also help other people understand more efficient ways of doing things, especially sacral beings like generators and manifesting generators, right? So it's like, I'm here to guide others to find what is efficient for them and what their, follow their strategy and their authority, their inner authority, so that they can make the decisions that are right for them. It's not my job to like tell them what to do. And so I think, for me, what was the question?
I think I was just trying to show like, just what business looks like for you as a projector.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, it's this like constant refinement of how can I work more energy efficiently? And I have a hard time as a projector seeing myself, because I'm really meant to see the other person and go deep into somebody else's realm. I'm not really meant to like turn that around onto myself. So it's hard sometimes for me to even answer a question about myself, and my experience. I see myself through somebody else's experience, and I see myself and I get clues to how I function by working with and guiding somebody else. And so through helping other people figure out more energy efficient ways of running their businesses, I discover my energy efficient ways of running my business. And so I think there's this like beautiful give and take kind of that happens between projector and generator, or projector and manifesting generator. Or even if I'm engaging with another projector, like we see each other through, or we see ourselves through each other. And so, I think for me, it's more about helping people make sustainable changes that are and get there efficiently, but not so much rapidly. It's more like, let's work with really understanding you so that you can set up your life and your business to really work for you in the long term, not just be like a quick fix. And I can say, my mom and I were having a conversation about this just this morning, where we see a lot of people plug into like a business coaching program, and they will like have all of these rapid results while they're in the program, and then they quit the program, and then they can't find the energy to like work any of the systems that they learned. It's like as soon as they sever that relationship with the coach, it's like all progress stops. It's not sustainable anymore because they were plugging into somebody else's energy in order to make the changes. And I'm really not interested in that. I'm interested in helping somebody set up their business so that they can not have a coach, and they can, maybe they hire a coach for something else to help them. But like, I want it to work for somebody long-term, not just, let's come in and do a quick fix and have you rely on my energy to get that done. That doesn't really work for people. So.
Wow.
And I'm going to say, did that. So just, I had that experience. And I mean, I spent a lot, as I think a lot of us coaches do, trying to work programs that weren't built for, our design. And there's really no awareness out there, or even messaging out there that there are other ways to do this. And that is to start with your design and your desire and your purpose and your mission first. Julie and I think this is funny all the time. We work with business owners where they've got branding and they've got all these things, but no one ever asked them what their purpose was or what their mission or vision is. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, how do you have branding if you don't even know what you're here to do? So I think it's fascinating how kind of simple it is, but how much we miss the boat on how to really run a successful business coming from you, not your condition. Yeah.
I love that. And I can relate to it as well, that every coach I have had or mentoring, and I have a business coach now, for me, it have to be like I fall asleep if it's too slow. Like I'm already far ahead. And then, of course, there are different people with different energies, and what you're explaining as well. I love this because it's also if you don't know and you're coaching someone and you don't even know what kind of human design you have, like yourself. It's also, this is, I think it's brilliant. It is because like you said, that you I wrote it down, like master efficiency energy. Like for me, I'm thinking about my daughter as well. Sometimes she's coaching me, like, come on, mom, we have to have a system here. And it's like, yeah. It has to be like
classic projector.
Yeah. It was a morning meeting this morning. Like she's always kind of putting us together.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Yeah,
I kind of love
that's
it.
awesome. How old is she, Yaya?
She's turning 14.
Okay, perfect.
And
this is great
my son
information.
is 11. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's also what you're sharing, that you also can use it, like you say, in your life, in your family life, in your relationships. It's not just business, it's overall.
Yeah.
I would say that's the other element. That's the other element, is that we see so many people who are like, I'm just going to do business coaching, I'm just going to do life coaching, like they're separate buckets. And I'm like, that doesn't work. It's all one bucket, like how do you have business mentorship without also addressing some key life things, like setting boundaries, like understanding how you are and how you function. And so, I don't think you can really have effective, efficient systems, rapid transformation, any of that without also some elements of looking at yourself.
No, I agree. I totally agree. And what has been kind of the challenging working together as well, if you want to share, like being so close to each other in so many ways? Is there anything that's been like, wow, this is challenging?
I don't feel like anything challenging. I definitely think that, we have kind of a unique relationship where I feel like we're, sometimes we're like mother and daughter, sometimes we're like best friends, sometimes we're like coaching each other. And so I think we've been able to make a distinction of like, hey, I need mom right now, or hey, I need a friend right now, hey, I need a coach right now. And we're able to kind of communicate that with one another, or I need my business partner. So it's like we wear many hats in our relationship together. And from my perspective, there haven't been challenges so much as just our relationship has changed. And like we communicate with each other differently than we did a year ago. And we've had conversations that definitely we never would have had not working business together.
Yeah. I wouldn't say there's challenges. I mean, most of it's just beautiful. I just feel like we've gotten to know each other really well. And it, like you said, the hats, like I go to visit Julie and we work, and then I'm a grandma to children. So we're flipping in and out, but that works for an MG, so I can come in there and do all those things. I think when I go to Julie's, it can be a little tiring because she's around MG all the time. And then when my energy's out, she's like, whoa, I went way too far as a projector. So I think we're getting more aware of the energy dynamic when I'm there, because we live across the country from each other. So when we're working this way, it's a little bit easier because we can regroup and come back. I would say that the things that I've noticed lately is that if because we're built differently, if we have to, there's little nuances. So if I overshare maybe some of the things that Julie and I built together, that doesn't always work for a projector, because that's like it's their, I don't know. How would you describe that, Julie?
I think, just to understand like how the projector brain works a little bit, it's not only like learning how do I work more efficiently, but it's also like what I can get done in an hour of time is like what a generator could get done in 4 hours of time. And so time just works differently. And I used to think, oh, this is like ADHD and I have like hyperfocus issues. And I used to think it was a problem that like, oh, I will go like so deep into one thing that I like forget what time it is. And then I'm late to stuff. And then I like forget to feed myself. Like I used to do it with art all the time. I would like be creating art for like 8 hours. And then I would like get out of the thing that I was plugged into. And then I would be like having a meltdown because I hadn't eaten in 2 days. And it was like, I would lose track. And so I used to be like, that's a problem. And that's like an ADHD problem of hyper focus. And now I'm like, oh, actually, no, that's just how projector brain works, where I can go like really deep into one thing. And I can, when I focus that and I harness it, I can actually get a lot done in an hour time. And so sometimes I will feel, I don't even know if protective is the right word, but like, I guess I've had to learn how to honor what I can create in a short period of time, and almost like say, I don't want to just give that away, because it took a lot of my energy to do it. And so for my mom, like, she has constant energy. So she's not thinking about energy in terms of like there being almost like a monetary value on it. It doesn't hold the same sacredness, I guess, that it does for a projector. And so when we create something, she's like, yeah, let's like go share it and like help everybody with it and spread the word and like give it away for free, because I have abundant energy and I can just go create more and more and more. And I'm going, wait a minute. It took a lot from me to create that. And like, I would like to get compensated for that. So please don't just go give it away. And so there's been like conversations like that where we have to really acknowledge each other's design and values, I guess, that come with that.
Yeah. That's a great example. But see, what I love though, is that we have the ability to come to each other and say, I'm feeling this thing, I need to express it. And so it's not like oh my God, Julie's mad at me, or it's just like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have seen that if, you know, if we hadn't had the conversation about it. So, and I love this because it's actually not personal. It's just us really trying to master who we are and our unique selves, and how to do it here in a way that is beneficial for everyone, because it is very beneficial for a projector and a manifesting generator to work together. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think Julie and I see that. And then also, you know, we're learning about, you know, all the other designs too. And so, you know, we're really just trying to like finesse those pieces as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, I could really see as well that you complement each other's energies somehow. Is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it because it makes me understand my daughter more as well.
Yeah.
Myself. Like it's,
Yeah.
And what you shared as well. Yeah. No, but what you shared as well, that this is sacred for me, and I can relate to Sandra. Like, okay, let's get it out. And and I have a lot of projector friends and so on as well, and manifesting generators. It's
And I
what were you going to say?
For projectors, there's not so many role models in business, so it's harder for us to see how to be successful in business, where there are a lot of generator and manifesting generator role models and entrepreneurs and people out there. And most business coaches, I mean, most people are sacral, so they're going to be generator or manifesting generator. So just the odds that you would have a projector leading you is less likely. And so I think for me, it's been a lot of deconditioning. Like, how do I not try and be a generator and burn out? And like, that's been a reoccurring theme in my life, is hitting like major points of burnout and depression and stuff like that, because I was ignoring my design and I was trying to be my mom, you know, and function like she did, because she was my role model growing up. And so I think in working together now, there's this like, human design has given us a language and a framework to understand each other, and also take the emotion out of it. So we can just be like, oh, that's what's going on here. It's just this. And I can kind of decondition myself from her ways, and she can just feel free to do what she wants to do. So it's been very helpful for us to have conversations of understanding each other and just say, oh, that's, you know, that's just my mechanics. That's just your mechanics. There's no emotion around it.
It sounds like it's also more easy to not take it personal, because then if you're kind of dancing around, okay, this is what's going on within me in terms of human design. I love it. It's it gets clarity. Like it makes clarity. I mean,
yeah. And it, I think why Julie and I really liked using Strength Finders years ago is it kind of it takes the personal out of it, so you can see somebody's unique self. And even for us to go into the channels and look at those things, it's like there's even looking at my husband Zane, it's so helpful to go, oh, you're just doing your design. I don't have to be triggered by that approach that you're having to something, or just knowing that there's going to be, different ways that we show up, and it's just okay. And then if you see that somebody's in their not self, so then you can be kind of having conversations about that, but it's not so heated. It's not so personal. It's just like you truly want them to be a better version of themselves. So, and Julie and I geek out all the time. And because she's a projector, she's always got a deep dive learning on something. So I'm always like, bullet points. I need bullet points. If I go into it, it's like, oh my God, I can't do that. But every now and then she'll give me something and I will deep dive into it because it's so exciting, and I can rapid fire that awareness and bring in too. But there's no way I can know all the things or learn all the things that Julie does in one given day. And that used to feel like manic. That used to feel like, it used to feel like just sort of this, intense energy. And now I don't have to take Julie's intense energy personally. It's just like, oh, that she's studying that, and that's really cool. And she's learned to wait for me to invite her to tell me more. Instead of just, fire hosing it, which sometimes a projector will do because they're so excited about what they just learned. They want everyone to know about it too.
Yeah. Wow. Could you, like, one of you also explain for the listeners who doesn't know what human design are? We kind of started the other way. That was my take. And the different types as well.
Okay.
Like
you go, Julie.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to preface this by saying, like, we're not human design experts at all. This has been something that we've really gone into over the past year. But I mean, human design is I would say, part science, part spiritual kind of system, where it takes a lot of ancient wisdom and kind of combines it all into one tool that you can use to really start to see yourself and understand how you're designed, but also understand your personality. And so I think of it like it's the mechanics of why you do what you do, and then also, or how you do what you do, also with why you do what you do. And so there's basically, it takes into account the day you were born, your location of birth, and your birth time to give you your design. And there are the different design types, which are divided into energy types and non-energy types. The energy types are generator and manifesting generator. And then we have projectors, reflectors, and manifestors that work a little bit differently than the energy types. And so, you can go onto Jovian Archive. Their website is a great one to just plug in your information. You'll get so much information, way too much information. As a projector, even the first time I did this, I stumbled upon it probably 4 or 5 years ago. And the first time I read it and listened to it, I was like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. It is like, I was so put off by it. And so it's funny how somehow we circled back to it a few years later when I guess I was ready to take in the information. But it basically is, it's a tool. I look at it as a tool that helps you understand how you are meant to do things and why you choose to do the things that you do. And when you really start to utilize your energy type and also your authority, which is like your inner decision-making process, you're really just then led to things that are correct for you. So I just look at it as like a tool to make your life easier. And there are certainly people out there who are way more qualified than we are to give you a like in-depth human design reading. We more just use it as a tool in our business to help make sure that we're guiding people in the correct way for them.
Would you like to add something?
Yeah, you want to add any to that, Mom?
Well, I just think it's just another navigation system. I guess that's the way I think of it, is just how to navigate yourself, and also just to see yourself through, Julie and I, we created this thing called the transformation triad, because of course, transformation is my gig. And on the bottom, it's, we just created this triangle, and on the bottom, it's just kind of knowing yourself, it's self-perception. And on that bottom, I think that in introducing things like human design is super helpful, because it gives us more information about ourselves. And, like just an example of Julie's hyper focus, like I, as her mom, could not understand how she could spend an entire year creating art in her bedroom, like obsessively. And then all of a sudden, she was off hyper focusing on something else. So it's just super helpful to kind of reflect on yourself and go, oh, this makes a lot more sense. And then it just, to me, it gives some really good guidance, and you can you can spend your entire life understanding the system, but all you have to really do is just look at the basics. And if you just start with the basics, like, what is the feeling state you're going for in each of these, different designs, then it just helps. So for a generator, a manifesting generator, we're always looking to feel satisfied. And we know when we're not in doing our perfect design is when we feel frustrated. So each one has their own ways. So you can sort of lean into that. Am I feeling frustrated? Yeah. Then it means I said yes to probably things I didn't really want to follow. So it just kind of gives a great little, to me, I just feel like it's a great way to navigate the world. It's just more information. And, so much astrology that comes with that piece, but I'm loving it right now because I'm getting a lot of clients that are different designs, and same with Julie. Yeah. So it's just helping us like, oh, how do they do work? How do they approach themselves? How do I support them in that way of approaching themselves? So I'm just on a roll with manifestors right now and finding it super fascinating. And so it's just, it's just another thing to dig into and explore. And I love those kinds of things.
I love it. Yeah. One of my clients she's manifestor as well. I also dig just a little bit because I'm still learning so much. And I also will have another person who is an expert in this topic on Soul Conversation. But I love what you're saying as well, that you're using it as a tool, that you're not the expert, but you're learning more about your own science and then your client's science. So somehow that is also, it doesn't matter. Like you still use it in the right way, I would say. Like, it's so. Is there? Would you say starting to work this way? I just can imagine there is like so many people out there that would need this way of also this tool, but also everything else that you are like your soul wisdom and soul knowledge in everything that you've done up until now as well. Like it's a beautiful kind of, I don't know how to say it. There is a lot which is beautiful, because I know, Sandra, as well, you are also very like, your gift is also to channel energies. Do you say that? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, and you do that with clients as well.
Yeah. And, discovering human design was super validating, because I never really understood why I had so many people coming to me and what they wanted. And really, they just wanted to feel good. And I just have like fully defined definition from crown all the way to root. And so when I had my first human design reading, she was like, oh, you're a channel. And that was kind of like a validation, because I can learn a lot of things, and I love learning things, and I love being informed, but there's just things that I know that don't come from my mind. They just come from spirit or it just, universal force energy. Those are things I just know. So it was super validating for me to see that this is a natural thing. This has always been happening. And now I actually can use this And I think this is a part that I think Julie and I love, is now giving people a little bit of a guidance on how to utilize this. And really, I think a big part of what women are working on in our world right now is creating material success, and increasing our monetary situations by using our talents, by using our design, by using our purpose, and really leaning into that. And so that's been something I've been really leaning into. And I have to say that having a projector daughter who's like clearly sees that thing that I have is so helpful, because it's easy for me to discount that and go into my fear mode and like, no, I don't want to, be this, I don't want to label myself that and then be called a heretic, or, it's just like, but she's just like so clear in her projection and her aura of seeing what this is super helpful to me. And that's why I feel like it's so wonderful for us to work our designs together, because we have gifts in each of those. And I don't know what Julie would say an MG gift is to her, but for me, that's been super helpful to understand, like, how do I channel and what does that look like? And, we started our business with me doing a one-on-one and Julie doing group coaching, and we realized we were doing it wrong. So we kind of flipped the script. And so now it's like, I'm coming out into groups and doing that kind of work. Yeah. So that's been interesting.
Yes, you're right. You said groups. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you were teaching like groups and guiding.
Yeah. And we were just doing the opposite. Julie's like, I'm not comfortable with this. Julie, maybe you can speak to that a little bit more, how you discovered that.
Yeah, I think we both were approaching business from a place that was like conditioned. Like, we're like, this is what I think I should do based on what people tell me I should do, or what I see other people doing. And when we started to dig more into our design types, I was like, wait a minute, this is all wrong. Like, and it was interesting. I feel like the second we shifted and got really clear of like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be one-on-one with people. You're supposed to be more in a group, and your energy is more potent there and mine's more potent here. It was like, oh, the doors opened for us to receive more money and more clients and have a bigger impact. And it was like all of these things then started to snowball. And so I think but it was just like this one little tweak that we just had to like get really clear, like, oh, my energy is meant to focus this way. Yours is meant to focus that way. And so, I see so many people, and a lot of my clients are manifesting generators. I tend to attract all the manifesting generators. And I'm like, okay, so that's my work. I got it. But I think that so many people have like these everyone has gifts inside of them. Like, I really believe you come here on this planet with everything you need to fulfill your life purpose. And it's just the conditioning, like the outside noise, that pulls us away from that. And so to have a coach or to have a friend or a daughter or whoever that can like cut through all the bullshit and say, no, here, I really see you. Let's lean into your gifts and let's work them in a way that they're like meant to be worked. Then the abundance comes and the money comes, and like you will have the exact amount of money that you need to fulfill your purpose, and your gifts can come out. And it's, to me, I just see it like so clearly. And I think when people come to me, it's like, there's so much, I feel like the manifesting generator, especially, everyone comes to me, the first conversation is like, they're just spiraling in their brain because there's like so much passion for so many things. And they have a hard time figuring out, where do I put my focus? And I want all these different things I have a podcast and I have a business and I have this other business and I want to, they have like all these things and they can't just get like clear on like how to move forward with them. And so, I just think like, I agree that the world needs this, or entrepreneurs, everyone needs this, really, to see, to acknowledge what their talents are and their gifts are, so that they can fulfill the work that they came here to do, or whatever language you want to use on it to fulfill their karma, or, every spiritual practice has their own words around it. But I just think to mesh that with like the real life application of running a business, is just a beautiful thing, because, from my previous career, everyone knew me as like the systems queen. Like she could help you come in and like create really good systems in your business. And so I have a lot of people still come to me like, can you help me create systems? Then we start working together. It's not about the systems at all. It's about understanding how their energy functions, because when they're correct in their energy function, the systems just fall into place and it's so easy. And so I think so many people are trying to make it so much harder than it needs to be because they're swimming upstream in a sense, right, against their energy type. So yeah, I just see how quickly it works and how cool it is when people start really leaning into their unique blueprint, and they can, it's just like, oh, now all of a sudden the floodgates open for whatever it is, that thing that they were wanting. And yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I was always told that I was like, when I grew up, oh, you have these friends, and now you have these friends, and now you're doing this, and now you're all over the place. I'm like, yeah. And of course, I didn't know about human design back then. And now I have, like, the last year has been about clarity and not being so like, do you say scattering? Like when it's like all over. Yeah. And then I get tired. Like that's also something I was really tired of, not having the clarity and not having like, okay, it's these 4 things I'm going to do now because I love it. So I don't know if you can relate, Sandra and Julie.
I can relate, and that's where it's helpful to me to have conversations with Julie, because it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's our daily conversation.
What am I doing today? I don't know, because I still really like structure. I still really like to have a system, but I also need to know that as an MG, that's going to change day to day, and I'm following what's satisfying as my thread. And I used to just have a list and make myself do shit that I didn't want to do, and then I wouldn't understand why I was tired. Now I understand when you're really working your design, it's like you can have, especially as an MG, lots of energy. And I really need to burn that energy out in the day. And I don't need to burn it out being mental all day. Actually, I'm learning to not be mental. And that's a big, huge shift that I do think that human design is trying to teach us, is that we make so many decisions off of our thinking. And so often that's a conditioned thought, not a real something coming from deep within us or a higher self or part linked to our purpose here. And then we're running ourselves in the wrong energy system. And, you can see Julie uses that word a lot. It actually comes from her background in working in the chiropractic field too, is just really understanding our energy. And how to use it wisely. And as an MG, it's if I don't sleep at night if I didn't kind of run myself, if I didn't, I like to think of myself as an actual car, an MG car. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like it needs to go fast, and it needs to get out on the, the highway and go 65. Like there's times of the day where I need to do that. And then there's also times where I just need to slow it down and just sit in quietness. So I think it's just really understanding that piece of how we put our energy too. I don't know. I got off on a tangent there.
No, I love it, because that's kind of my days now as well. Like I knew, like we scheduled this, and before that I was dancing and working from my phone because I needed to move. And I needed to, because I can go around and work from my phone when I don't have clients, of course, and do like to move my body at the same time, just to do. Yeah, I don't know. That's just the way, because then I feel satisfied.
Yeah.
That instead of just sitting like, and like, then I get bored.
Yeah, I know. And I think it really helps. Again, like I say, I think human design is great in relationships because it's been helpful. I'm married to a generator. And so I have to use a little bit of manifesting energy to inform him that I'm now turning right when I said I was going to go straight, because for a generator, it's like, but I thought we were going down this path. So I think it's helpful. Julie, she's married to a projector. So, they have the same design, and that makes for a unique relationship. And then they have 2 generator sons. So it's exhausting being parents from a projector perspective. Do you want to share any of that, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot. When we first ran all of our charts, it was wild because my husband is also a 2/4 emotional projector. And so we were like, what? Wait, like, what are the odds that we would like find and marry the exact same energy and profile type? Like, that's really not common. And then that we would have 2 sacral generator children. And so it's interesting. I mean, it definitely has shifted the way that I parent my kids and the way that I understand parenting. And again, like with everything we're talking about, I think that it has just helped me success is like, it's like, everyone knows this. It's a mindset game, right? It's like, how much can you keep your mind in the right place to keep pushing on and doing the things that you want to do? And so for me, it's like helped me shift all of these like unhelpful, negative, limiting beliefs that I had about myself and actually flip them and be like, oh no, that's how I'm designed. And then here are the gifts with it. And I see that so much in my clients too. Like for an MG, I see people come, they're like, I can't finish anything that I've started. I'm terrible at follow through. I have way too many things going on. I annoy everyone around me because I have all these ideas and all these projects, but I never actually like get them done. And so they have all these beliefs around themselves and their limitations relative to that. And when they start to understand, oh no, you're meant to be just like getting the good energy going around a new project and then delegating it off to a generator who can follow a protocol and work in a more linear way to like bring your vision to fruition. Like when they start to understand that and view it in a different way, then it's like, oh, this is no longer my weakness, but my strength. And so I see that so much in my own parenting and both my husband and I, like, we've always questioned, like, why is this so much harder for us than it is for other people? Like, why is parenting so much more exhausting for us? Like, and I really, for a long time was like, there's something wrong with us or the way we're approaching this. And like, it was a year ago that I had really bad postpartum depression. And we were having kind of a, one of those come to Jesus moments of like, something has to change. Like, this isn't working. I'm so burned out. And now to realize like, oh, because I was trying to plug into my kids' generator energy I was trying to work as a generator. And so now to be like, oh, I'm meant to just guide them in their energy. It's like a whole different approach. And now I know that at the end of the day, like I need to go remove myself from their aura so that my system can kind of cleanse and refresh and like I can get unplugged in from their generator energy. And even when my mom came to visit recently, I really started to have this like very tuned in, I don't know, acknowledgement of like when she's here and she's in my energy, I like start to operate like a generator. And I'm like, yeah, let's clean out the basement. Let's like organize all the things. Let's start all these projects. Let's build a course together. And then she leaves. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have no energy. Like, what's happening to me? And it's like, I get unplugged from that energy source. And now I'm in like survival mode. And so to like realize like, oh, I married another projector. There's no conditioning of each other. We have really similar charts. And so it's like, oh, there's like this, I'm starting to appreciate him on a different way where it's like, we are each other's kind of safe space where we don't condition each other's energy type. And so there's no drain when we're just with each other. There's no like acting different than our designs. I mean, subtly, but not in the same way that we do with, totally different energy types. So it's just so fascinating to me how it all works and noticing now the nuances of all of our design types together.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And, Julie, she was born into an MG mom, dad, and sister. So she rode off of our energy.
Oh, yes. The saying is, I was just.
So I spent my whole life being conditioned by manifesting generators. So I really thought like, I'm a manifesting generator. I should function that way. Yeah. And I instead spent my whole adult lifetime battling like burnout and
depression,
autoimmune issues and things because it was like I was really trying to work my energy type in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just thinking like bigger as well, that this is also actually really helpful tool. I'm thinking about depression. I'm thinking about burnout, all of this. Like, I mean, you could actually, if it feels aligned to you, of course, and you dig in and you get the support, then you can actually prevent as well, I would say, with this tool.
Yeah.
I mean, of course,
Absolutely.
you have to do their own work yourself and so on, of course. But wow, I didn't see it that way. Oh my God. And both of your sons, you said, are generators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of energy constantly.
And they're boys too. So it's like, it's all the boy energy at the same time. Yeah. But I think
my husband and I have a joke where we're when they're playing and they want us to play with them, it's like we're like laying on the ground while they're playing, and we're like kind of engaging in, you know, the play with them, and we call it lay and play, but it's like it's like our strategy for like how to keep up with the generators. We rest while playing. But I'll be like, oh, you're laying playing a lot today. Are you tired?
That's so good.
It is true.
But now there's humor with it, and it's not a point of contention in our marriage, or, you know, it doesn't mean anything bad about us like it used to. Now it's just like, it's kind of funny.
But I actually heard a lot of projectors telling me that they have in so many ways used their energy in the generator way or the manifestation. Like also, okay, so this is big, and I have one more question as well. But the society, I mean, if we're talking about the society, okay, there is a shift now. We know that. But it's also been conditioned, I think, in the generators kind of energy, like to do a lot. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, projectors are the newest energy type. And so, you know, looking back in history, it was like manifestors were leading the way and generators were doing all the work. And so, I mean, I think, you know, like you said, we know there's this shift happening here where we're kind of moving from like the industrial mentality to more of a individualistic mentality. And I think a big piece of that is like the generators, they're the builders. And so our whole economy, the way we know how to run business, parent, like all of it, it's so infused with that builder mentality and the manifestor mentality of like, I'm just going to, you know, inform and tell people what to do. And so it's like, oh, if you're a boss, you should operate like a manifestor. And if you're an employee, you should operate like a generator. And it's like, wait a minute, that's like not going to work for a lot of people. And so, yeah, I mean, I think like for me, it was like, oh, I had modeled to me only manifesting generator energy in my home. And so that's just what I thought, you know, you had to do. And then in my employment, like I had so much generator and even manifestor energy, you know, modeled to me. And so then I had this perspective of like, to run a successful business, I have to be operating in this sort of way. And all it did was leave me feeling burned out, exhausted, and like there were crickets. I'm like, nobody's hiring me. Nobody's coming to me. Like there was like no energy because I had no energy. And so it was like, I think just starting to go, wait a minute. So I'm going to ignore logic and ignore all of the ways that I should run a business. And I'm actually going to like take this kind of radical approach of just, you know, waiting for invitations and like waiting and not initiating and not building. I'm just kind of like, being recognized for what I know and waiting for people to invite me in to work with them. And once I started doing that and putting all of my attention into that, then all of a sudden it was like, oh, here's another person showing up for guidance. And so, it's just wild to me how quickly things change when you're like, oh wait, I'm working the wrong strategies.
Yeah. And that's also, I mean, so helpful. I mean, when you're running a business and as manifesting generator, like I think I can contact people, but it have to feel soul aligned for me to contact them in terms of like working with them. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm kind of manifesting that the right one will show up. And I don't know if that is the correct way, being like true to my
I think as a manifesting generator, like any generator, like your correct strategy is to respond. And so that response could be, oh, I see Sandra posted something I really like. I'm going to send her a message and ask to connect with her. You're responding to something, right? So it's not necessarily initiating the way a manifestor gets like information download from the divine and goes and initiates. They're responding to like source energy, whereas you're responding to something that like you just experienced. And I mean, you could be responding to source energy too, but I think it's more like you're just responding, and your whole job is just to like walk through your day and just respond to like what lights you up and what feels good to you. And that will lead you to being in the right place at the right time with the right people, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. What you're saying, because with Soul Conversation, for example, I mean, I've been so consistent because it's attached to my purpose and mission. So there's no way that I wouldn't show up for myself or for other people. And I think we talked about that, Sandra, as well. Like this is my stage where I can really have, it's been so easy to get like to attract in guests, I mean, to be part of. And then I could just ask someone like I did with you, and you recommended someone, Sandra, to me. Yes. And then she recommended, like it's very flowy. But then like you said, Julie, I think for me, I am very like energy, what kind of energy someone puts out there, I'm very sensitive. But that's also all because of all the inner work I'm doing, that it have to be, I have to respond to something that is, how do you say, like that I get lit up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about this all the time in terms of the car example that my mom said earlier, where it's like, I'm like, what gets your, and I'm like, what, this sounds kind of, you know, whatever. I'm like, what revs your engine? Like, where is your engine revving when you say I could work on this or I could work on that? Like, what kickstarts the engine, the generator engine, right? And it's like, if you are, I think this is true for any energy type. If you find yourself going, I should do this today, it's like, get out of town, right? I mean, that isn't going to kickstart your engine. So you're going to be forcing and pushing and like nothing, you're only ending up in frustration at that point. So, you know, I think truly it's like for all of us, all of the energy types, it's really like anything that I think I should do this today is probably not an aligned strategy for me or for you.
Yeah.
Because it just comes from the mind. It's just coming from the conditioning of like, oh, to run a successful business, I should be posting on social media 4 times a day. You know, it's like, do you want to? Does that feel good? If it doesn't, then it's not, people aren't going to perceive it in the right way. And it'll lead to a bunch of other bitterness or frustration or, you know.
Yeah. Anger.
I'm also thinking, Sandra, when we met, I don't know, was it like 4 years ago? I always like,
I looked it up. We met in February of 2021.
Was it 2021?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And I can't remember.
Now I know, because I have also been thinking, because I thought it was through like UPW and Tony Robbins, but it's not. No. It was through, what was it called? women's independence.
Yes. Oh, yes. It was. Yes. Thank you. I was telling Julie, I could not remember. That's
with
what it was.
Valerie.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. That's right. And
She had a workshop or something like that. And you were talking about your book, I think.
Yes, I think I was.
I
That was
think
about
so.
about the time. Yeah.
And I liked your energy. I remember I was like, oh, I love her energy. I need to.
MG energy.
It feels like it's 10 years ago, though.
I know.
Oh my God, so much has
a lot has happened since 2021 for me and for you. So there you go.
Yeah. And also because, Julie, what I asked Sandra back then, I asked her about her mission.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, you said to me, of course, I want to coach or guide people around the world, women, and I think you said from stages as well. I think you did. You were very like specific, like, yes, I have a big mission. And I was like, yes, because I love big missions. Like that. So both of you, what is your, like, now we're going like big. So what is your mission? And if you would like to share, like, if we take it further ahead, to bigger.
Yeah. Julie.
What is my mission? I mean, my mission really simply is to feel good and to help people feel good. And I honestly, there's not a whole lot to it beyond that. My purpose, I think, is really to help people understand concepts that feel big or elusive, and I have an ability to really mull on something for a really long time and bring a inspiration or a big idea into something that's actually like usable and functional for people. Yeah. And so I feel like my purpose is really to help people take concepts that feel really big, apply them to their lives, and help ignite their inner strengths and inner talents and inner vision. And so honestly, my mission is to be recognized and to be invited and to guide people to do that work. And all of my juice just comes from continuing to feel better personally and continuing to help other women feel better also.
Nice.
Yeah. And before me, Sandra, wait, Sandra, wait. I have one more. Okay. So with that said, is there any kind of number in the world that's how many you would like to tell?
No. I mean, it's like I have goals and I have numbers, right? That it's like, okay, this month, this is the number that I want. Yeah. But or this is how many people I want to work with. But honestly, I really view life as like an experiment. And for me, I go to this far out place in the future of like, just, it's a really good feeling state. And so I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing to get there. It's more just continuing to align myself with that good feeling state and then follow where I'm invited in a day-to-day process to show up and to guide. So for me, I think it's really, really a practice in just staying present and then connecting to that future feeling state and continuing to align my energy with that vibration of what I want to create.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Okay, Sandra. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I love that. Okay, it's always shifting, and so I have it written out. But I love that because an MG just needs to answer it in the moment because it changes. So for me, it really is about it's really activating transformation, and particularly in women. But I am still open to male clients. I have a male client too. I just really love working with humans in general. But it's really activating others. And a big part of that is my purpose in human design is to helping people come back home to themselves. So I feel like a big part of my work is to help people really arrive back to who they are and to really see themselves from that space of love and then being connected to, the part of transformation that I enjoy is helping people remove all of the things that are getting in the way of who they really are. So to me, that's really kind of the mission. And the vision for me personally is I'm the kind of chick who's $1 million coach. And I say that not because it's all about money, but it's because it's about time, freedom. It's about following my desires. And it's about also being able to give to others. I have a vision of being on retreats with women. I have a vision on being in beaches with my children and my grandchildren. So to me, that is having the ability to make those things happen without worrying about how am I going to make that happen. Julie and I, part of our vision together is having programs that people can just buy and do on their own and then come to us and work with us. So to me, there's a lot of work that we know people can do on their own. And then that makes them ready to do the work that we want to do with them. So for me, I have this vision still of being on stages worldwide, doing retreats, partnering with other women. I love the co-collaborative arena. I think MGs do that really well together. So I know that there's big things coming. I just don't know what they are. I always say that Julie and I kind of monitor whether we're risking or we're getting uncomfortable. Like, do you just feel like throwing up just a little bit? Like, are you that uncomfortable? Like that's the edge that I like to be on, is just feeling just a little too uncomfortable, getting feedback from people that may not be easy to hear. Because it's great to hear all how amazing you are. But when people actually come to you and say, this is how this is landing, that's super helpful because it gives us feedback. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's just really creating something big, because I want women to see that they can do that too. And we're all special. And I love helping women see how amazing they really are, and that it's just with a little bit of support and with some direction and activation, amazing things can happen.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. And I can relate to a lot of your purpose there. I would say.
Yes, I know you can.
Yeah. And if someone listening now and they want to get in contact with you and I don't know, maybe have some kind of call or just to check your profiles out and everything on Instagram, or where is the best, like, where are you the most?
Where are we? Yeah. Julie.
Yeah, the best place to start with me is on Instagram at Julie Jones _coach. And I always have my most updated links and everything in my bio there. But really what I do most of the time is meet with people one-on-one. We do a connection call just to start out to see what are your goals, what are your challenges. I work with a lot of healers. So I work with a lot of people who are in service-based businesses, and they are done trading their time for their money, right? And so a lot of what we end up doing together is just figuring out how to do things more efficiently, how to hire teams, how to lead teams, how to build businesses that are efficient and can run so that they can go pursue their other passions and do the things that they want to do, or raise children, or, all of these things. So often we start out with a call. We also co-facilitate a group called the Align Her Collective. And that also is in my link and in Sandra's. But the Align Her Collective is a group for women. We meet once a month for a group coaching call, and we meet once a month for business training. And it's all about creating life and business alignment. And it's just a really cool community of women all over. We have a directory in there so they can hook up with each other. So there's an element of just creating a community of kind of soulful business owners, and women in a similar mission that we have. And again, there's a lot of healers in that group, and just some really cool people doing awesome things. And that's kind of a lower investment for people just wanting to kind of like start to come into our world a little bit and see what we're all about.
Yeah.
Is it kind of a membership? Or
yeah,
it is a membership. It's $97 a month. And you can also go to @AlignHerCollective, or you can find it from our profiles as well.
And then finding me, same thing is Instagram, Sandra Wood Coach. We just love that, sending people there because it's the easiest brochure.
It's more efficient.
More efficient. Yeah. And again, you can also, both Julie and I have a way to contact us. So that's there. I like to just talk to people and find out what they're looking for. And then I can, as an MG, I can give them the different options. I take on a few one-on-one clients, but mostly I am working in retreats and working with women in the Align Her Collective group. So, but there's lots of different ways that I approach working with clients as well. So just go check it out. And, Julie and I do webinars. We're out there. We have free offerings too, because we love to teach, and we co-teach really well together. So we really complement each other that way. So you can find us that way. There's lots of different ways to engage. And just see what we have out there and see if that feels right to you, because that's the whole thing. It's got to feel right to create some action there. So yeah, that's how you find us.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much, like, for this call, for everything you shared. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful I met you, Sandra. And now I met you, Julie. It's
Julie,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Same.
Thanks for having us. This is amazing. Always love talking to you.
The same. And for you who've been listening or are listening, like, after this conversation is published, we love to hear your takeaways. And if you want to share your human design, if you know it, if you don't know it, you could also contact Sandra or Julie or both of them. Thank you so much.